So now we're going to be taking a look at the user interface of the Huawei Ascend P6. Samsung has the TouchWiz user interface, HTC has the Sense UI, even LG has its own custom user interface on its smartphones. Huawei brings something called the Emotion UI. We have seen the Emotion UI in action on the Huawei Ascend Mate and the Huawei MediaPad 10 Link. Now it's on the P6 as well. Let's start with the lock screen. From the lock screen, you have access either to go to the camera or to unlock the device. It's nice that you have these two options with the swipe of a finger, but you don't get access to the lock screen widgets, which we've come to see on other Android smartphones running 4.2 Jelly Bean, where you just swipe from the edge and you can have lock screen apps. You can just unlock the smartphone or go to the camera app directly, either as you please. But the good thing about the smartphone is that it offers you a bunch of preloaded themes which also affect the lock screen. So for example, if I choose the Halo theme and apply it, I get a few different access on the lock screen. So now basically when you will see the lock screen, I have a few different options. I can go to the call menu, the camera, unlock the phone, or go to the messaging app. So considering these themes come preloaded on the smartphone, it's nice to give you a bit of variation. Apart from the themes, another thing that you will notice about the user interface is that there is no apps listing page. Just like iOS, if you download any app, it'll appear on the home page and this is where apps are listed. You of course have the option to bunch a few apps together into a folder so you can neatly organize your apps as and when you need. You can also access the widgets directly. You can pinch out to see the number of home screens you have. It's easier just to add a home screen with the click of a button or even remove a home screen. To add widgets, all you need to do is long press on the home screen and you can access widgets. The home screens appear on the top and you can choose the particular widget you want to add. So it's done in real time, making the user interface really quite seamless. Even the keyboard is something that Huawei has added. It isn't stock Android. You have access to a bunch of other features such as accessing the question marks and the numbers and other symbols directly from the keyboard without going into the alternate mode, which can also help you type faster. We've seen such keyboards on other smartphones and the one on the Huawei Ascend P6 is nice to use. It's comfortable to type on. The rest of the user interface in terms of the way apps function or the browser functions and the settings, the drop-down notifications are pretty standard Android, what we've come to expect from other smartphones. The light customization for the user interface, the lock screen, might be difficult for some to adjust to, especially if you're used to the traditional user interface of the smartphone. But if you don't mind experimenting with something new, you should take a look as the user interface is quite interesting. Coming to the performance of the Huawei Ascend P6, the smartphone has Huawei's own custom chipset, a quad-core 1.5 GHz processor and 2 GB of RAM. Now the real-world usage, which is to say making calls, texting, browsing the internet and just generally going through the user interface of the smartphone is really smooth and the device functions quite well even if there are a large number of apps running in the background, as you can see out here. It is, however, in the gaming performance and some heavy duty work. If you want to use the smartphone for a lot of multitasking, run heavy apps, then the smartphone starts to lag. It's probably because to maintain the slim form factor and to prevent a lot of overheating issues, the chipset hasn't been optimized completely, which means that some of the heavy duty apps will lag. We'll show you running Dead Trigger and few of the lags we faced on it. But otherwise, in terms of everyday performance, the smartphone is good. You also can check out our camera performance with these images. The camera's performance is average in well-lit situations. The pictures are acceptable. Of course, if you zoom into them completely, if you view them in their original size, you will see that there is loss of detail. In low-lit conditions, they maintain the details and the noise is also low, but their output isn't really the best. So here we're just going to show you the game and how it lags slightly. Now, as you can see, it usually Dead Trigger loads a lot faster when we've played the game on other smartphones. The load times are a lot more on the P6. We've played two heavy-duty games on the phone, one being Dead Trigger and the other being Real Racing 3. So as you could probably see, when we started firing or when the level just loaded up for the first time, there was a lot of jitter initially, and you probably notice now that when the action gets really crowded on screen, the way the enemies are progressing, you can make out there is a bit of a jitter. There's no denying the fact that the Huawei Ascend P6 is an impressive phone. However, the inaccessible battery, no NFC, and the low benchmark scores are some things you'll have to consider when looking for the entire package on offer. The positives include the fact that the device is gorgeous, responsive, and very slim. You can even use it with gloves. The camera performance is average and is best suited for casual photographers who just want to upload their clicks on social networking websites. Android has been customized completely, and we are happy with what Huawei has to offer in terms of the user interface. The price of the P6 is still unknown, but a direct conversion from the US price makes it about 35,000 rupees. At this price, you might want to consider your other options such as the Nexus 4, Galaxy S3 and the HTC One X Plus before making your purchase decision. If the smartphone was priced around the 25,000 mark, we'd say it was a steal.